Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. This is Grady, Hooker, and Brandon.
Hello.
So this past week we had Money in the Bank, the special event or whatever they're called now. We had 8 pretty big matches and 2 awesome Money in the Banks, even if I don't agree with the finish of one of them. And we also had quite an important announcement from Daniel Bryan on the pre-show, or the kickoff. So we'll start with that. What did you think of that?
I don't really know. Ultimately, I think that Daniel Bryan, he needs to be selfish for once. He always cares about the fans, not himself. I think he needs to be selfish about himself for once and get what he needs to get done. I want him to do what's best for him, not us.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. If he's gonna need a second surgery, if he's gonna be out until, next year even, do it. He needs to be healthy and come back, or he's just gonna get burnt out, more injured, and shorten his career in the long term.
Yep, I'd rather him be back and healthy than come back not 100%.
Do we think he'll go back to the spot he had?
I think he eventually will. I think it's going to be a climb because the Authority knocked him right back down, stripping him of the titles. And I think it's going to be an even harder climb than it was to win the titles.
I guess when he comes back, the climate of WWE could be completely changed as well.
Yep, because you have Roman Reigns on the rise, Bray Wyatt on the rise. They could very well be the champions when Daniel Bryan comes back.
Okay, so on the main card, quite an impressive match. It didn't look that good on paper, but tag team titles.
Yeah, this match surprised a lot of people.
It was, if they didn't have the Money in the Banks, I'd say it was match of the night.
Yep, I would say it was also the match of the night. There was many points in the match where I thought the match was over and done with, but they kicked out or someone broke up the pin. But ultimately, I expected the Usos to win, and there were some points where I thought the Wyatt family was going to win, and that just made it a great match.
Yeah, the fact that it was so unpredictable, it could have gone either way. I'm pretty sure you were the only one out of the 3 of us to pick the Usos.
Yeah, even though the Usos won this match, I could see the Wyatt family coming right back at the Usos for another title shot.
Or maybe we see the Ascension?
Yep, I can very well see the Ascension coming around by SummerSlam time. I read that they are going to be up pretty soon, and they're working live events as of late, so we could see the Ascension sooner rather than later.
And much like the Page situation, the NXT Tag Team Champs come straight in and get a shot at the Tag Team Champs.
Yeah, they rule the tag team division, and a lot of tag teams are coming up on NXT. The Vaudevillains, Enzo Amore, and Con Cassidy. They could eventually challenge the Ascension for the tag team titles, and the Ascension will go up to the main roster.
Okay, so talking of title matches, we had a Divas title, Paige versus Naomi.
Just like the opening match, this match surprised a lot of people as well.
See, I didn't pay too much attention to the match. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think you missed out on a lot. This was a pretty good Divas match, and one of the best Divas matches I've seen in a while. Paige, she's been impressive ever since debuting on the main roster.
If only she had a little more character to her.
Yeah, I think she needs another dimension. Right now, she's a 2D person, and she needs to become a 3D person.
But what did surprise me was Cameron didn't get interfered in the match or anything.
Yeah, but Cameron, she showed a lot of signs of jealousy.
Yes, but she didn't physically do anything like everybody was expecting.
Yeah, I was expecting her to get physically involved, possibly attacking Paige or Naomi.
Yeah, she didn't look too pleased when watching the match.
But she did look pretty happy when Naomi didn't come out as the winner.
True. So now we have Paul Revere versus Adam Rose.
I kind of predicted that Adam Rose or Bo Dallas were going to take on Damien Sandow. I did not expect Damien Sandow to come out dressed as Paul Revere, but nowadays you have to expect the unexpected with Damien Sandow.
Yeah, I didn't know who Paul Revere was, because I'm not really American, but I figured he was some American settler.
Yep, he is a big... I forgot my history lessons from school, so I can't really explain it. But I kind of like what they're doing with Damien Sandow. They're getting him on TV, they're getting him on Raw and SmackDown, and honestly, it's better than doing nothing and just sitting at home every week.
Fair enough. So we'll cut to the classic entrance theme of the week, and although both of the themes this week are personal favourites of Grady's, and they sound really good and like what Grady would listen to, he did not pick them. They were picked by, I think you picked Seth Rollins and Josh picked CM Punk's?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, so this is CM Punk's entrance theme back in, I'd say the 2000s. This Fire Burns. And you're back with the Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Brandon. We left off just before the Money in the Bank briefcase match.
Yeah, this Money in the Bank traditional ladder match, it was pretty good. Every year they put on one great ladder match, and it's always the briefcase match.
Yep, it was better than the main event one. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to top this Money in the Bank ladder match. There was a lot of great spots. Kofi Kingston, Rob Van Dam, they came out as stars in this match.
Yeah, that's the thing. They had so many big names. Like, I didn't miss Bad News Barrett being out of it.
Yeah, Kofi Kingston and Rob Van Dam, they're high flyers in a Money in the Bank ladder match. It's a high flyers playground.
But the High Flyers didn't win.
Yep, high flyers, they usually don't tend to win, but you could consider Seth Rollins a high flyer.
True. I'm pretty sure everyone picked it would be a Rollins or an Ambrose win, except you.
Yeah, I thought Dolph Ziggler could pick up the win because I thought that Ambrose, Rollins, they could take each other out, get pushed off the ladder, and in my opinion, Dolph Ziggler was the only guy left that could ultimately grab the briefcase.
But ultimately, you were completely incorrect, and the 99 percentile picked the correct winner.
Yeah, I was incorrect on my prediction, but it was still a good Money in the Bank ladder match, and I can't take that away from the match.
Yeah, I think other than the tag titles, the favorites won every single time. Oh, no?
Yeah.
Oh, we got the Summer Layla as well, so 2 out of 8 matches went to the non-favorites. But this Money in the Bank, it's going into the highlight reel as one of my favorite overall, full stop.
Yeah, there was a lot of spots where it was pretty painful. Dean Ambrose doing a DDT to Jack Swagger and landing pretty hard on his shoulder and arm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he busted it or not.
Yeah, Dean Ambrose, he had it taped. I saw later on Monday Night Raw last night. Not going to spoil anything, but he did have his arm wrapped up. So it could be real. It could be a work. But also there's another spot that was pretty painful where I believe Kofi Kingston hit a back body drop on Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins bounced off that ladder. That was extremely painful.
Yeah. That's the thing. These ladder matches are so dangerous that you could be busted and completely out for the rest of the year just from one spot going wrong.
Yeah, it's a pretty dangerous match and a pretty vicious match, but ultimately the end result, winning a briefcase for a future title match, that's worth it.
Yeah. I know I said this was my favorite Money in the Bank, but I gotta say, the main event had one spot that I really liked, and I'm gonna love talking about it when we get there.
Yeah.
So we'll jump on to the next one. It was a tag team match, the Dusts, or whatever we're calling them, versus Rybaxel for the 20 millionth time.
I think I'm going to start calling the Dustbusters.
That works. I had them as Dust to Dust, but...
Yeah, Stardust and Goldust, they're a pretty good tag team. Even though they only had 2 matches, from what I've seen from them, they're a pretty good tag team. And I think they're probably better than Cody Rhodes and Goldust.
Yeah, they're essentially the same people, but somehow they're putting on better matches.
Yeah, I think the Stardust character is actually better in the ring than the Cody Rhodes character. And Cody Rhodes, he's just showing that no matter what you give him dashing Cody Rhodes, he can run with it. You give him grotesque Cody Rhodes, he can run with it. And you give him Stardust, and he can certainly run pretty hard with this one.
He's getting to the point where I think Stardust is creepier than Goldust.
Yeah, Stardust is really, really creepy, and he's not very good at singing.
Yeah, but see, like, Goldust back in the probably 90s was this exact character, but he got toned down over the years.
Thank goodness he did.
Well, we don't want 2 completely crazy people running around in blonde wigs.
That's true.
So up next we had Rusev versus Big E, also for the second time.
Yeah, I expected a bit more out of the match. At the end there, I really thought Big E Langston could have mounted a comeback.
Yeah, I think other than a few small pieces, this was an exact carbon copy of their last match.
Yeah, I thought Big E Langston, he was going to come back, pick up Rusev, slam him back down. No way Big E was winning this match anyways, but it would have been a nice spot to see.
Yeah, Big E has really not been booked that well.
Yeah, ever since losing the Intercontinental Championship to an injured Bad News Barrett, he hasn't been on the top of his game. He's won a few matches here and there, but he hasn't really been on the top of his game. So Rusev just may be a bump in the road for Big E Langston, or the now Big E. I think Big E, he's going to be back on track by the end of the year.
But see, Rusev, he's still undefeated?
Yep, he's undefeated in singles matches. I don't really count a Royal Rumble or a Battle Royal towards a person's win-or-loss record. So Bordeaux still undefeated.
Fair enough. I don't think anyone counts those really. But it's Rusev. Why didn't we get Mark Henry? Come on, that would have been some points for Grady in draft and a better match.
Yeah, it would have been also points for me because I have Rusev. And it probably would have been a lot more impressive to see Mark Henry locked up in the Accolade.
Yeah, I think we need to move on. I hope this is the last Rusev Big E clash.
I think it's going to be, and I think we could see him move on to a feud with Jack Swagger, because remember, not too long ago that Seb Coulter and Lana had some interaction. I believe it was Main Event or SmackDown, and also on Twitter they had some interaction.
Yeah, I know. I definitely saw the tweets on Twitter going back and forth. You add Heyman into that, then you got sort of like the core managers. I'm probably missing some people here. But those two, they're pretty similar. You got one who's anti-American and one that's all-American.
Yep, the all-American American Jack Swagger. And you also have Seb Coulter. I don't know how to describe him, but he's pretty patriotic. And ultimately, I think that would be a pretty interesting feud, Jack Swagger versus Rusev. Jack Swagger is actually a pretty tall guy. And Rusev, he's actually a big guy, pretty muscular. But it'd be interesting to see strength versus length.
It would be a alignment flip for one of them.
I would think so. I don't think it's going to be Rusev, because Rusev and Lana hate America. I love America, and so does Jack Swagger and Seb Coulter. So if that feud does happen and somebody is going to switch, I believe it's going to be Seb Coulter and Jack Swagger.
Okay. Well, we'll jump on to the last match before the Money in the Bank. The Supreme Letdown, I'm calling it. Summer versus Layla.
This match was not good at all. The end result was not good at all either.
Nothing about this match was good.
Yeah, I really expected Summer Rae to walk out the winner, because I think she's gotten the best of Layla over the number of weeks ever since she returned. So it was kind of surprising to see Layla pick up the win here.
Actually, I take it back. There was one thing that was good, and that's that Summer Rae came down in her proper wrestling gear.
Yep, it's finally we see Summer Rae come down in her NXT gear instead of her dancing gear. And I really thought that was going to lead to a big change for Summer Rae winning this match, because once you change your gear, once you change your look, you have a feeling going on. You have a feeling that you're new and improved.
Yeah, and instead you just lose to Layla in what was probably less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, we really should have expected more out of Layla, because she's a former WWE Divas champion, women's champion with Laycool, and we really shouldn't have underestimated her in this match.
So we'll jump into the current entrance theme of the week. It's Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins. And you're back with the Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady, Brandon, Money in the Bank. We've only got the main event left. We got 8 minutes. How'd it go?
I think this was a good match. It kind of got overshadowed by the Money in the Bank traditional ladder match, because it's kind of hard to top that match, but this match was pretty good.
Yeah, for what it was, I still wasn't happy. It turned out in the end that this one had 8, and then the other one had 6 because of Bad News Barrett's injury. So with
Yep, and also Kane getting added to this match at the last minute.
yeah, so having 8 men, it did get a little chaotic at times.
Yeah. First thing I'm gonna bring up: Cesaro finally wearing knee pads.
Oh, it's not that big of an improvement.
Well, you see what it did for Cody Rhodes.
True, but I figure Cesaro needs to wear knee pads in a match like this. I
Yeah,
think
he also wore knee pads on Raw last night, so it could be a new style for Cesaro. And at the end there, I love that segment where everybody got a chance at the top. You saw Del Rio get a chance at the top, Sheamus, Randy Orton, and Kane, until John Cena came roaring back into the match and took them both out.
yeah. We also saw Randy Orton get busted wide open.
Yeah, that's a big part of the ladder matches, like we said earlier. Ladder matches are pretty dangerous, and there's a big risk in this match, but there's also a big reward.
Even if you just turn around and a falling ladder hits you in the head.
Yeah,
It's seriously something I'd imagine I'd see on, like, the Three Stooges.
yeah, but
I think,
these ladders are metal.
yeah, I want to see
and
that
they're
clip.
pretty bad.
I want to see it remixed, so when it hits him in the head, it makes, like, one of those cartoon, like, explosion-y type things, and a bonk noise happens. And then
You
it's
sound
funny.
like Santino right now.
I'm sorry then. But, yeah, I think he needed, like, 14 staples to close it up.
Yeah, like 14, 12 around that number. Also, I want to bring up that Cesaro, to me in this match, he came out looking pretty good. Even though he lost, along with Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, even though they lost, and they're up-and-coming stars, they came out as the real stars of this match.
They showed they could hang with the big boys.
Yep. Roman Reigns, he's likely going to be a world champion soon. Cesaro, he's probably going to be a world champion soon. Bray Wyatt, you could say the same for him. These guys are up-and-coming stars, and even though they didn't win, they came out looking like the real deal.
Okay, I'm going for a segue here. And since they can hang with the big boys, we showed literally that Cesaro could hang on to a ladder when it got tipped.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
That was my one I was talking about earlier, the spot that I really wanted to talk about. I liked the whole jamming that other ladder in and then putting it on an angle. It looked at
Yeah.
pretty much it was gonna tip. It was like, oh, it's gonna tip, and then you were just watching. They were fighting on top of this tipsy ladder. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was. The Money in the Bank ladder matches have amazing spots in them, and this was one of the.
Yeah, they definitely have those
Spots in
moments.
this match.
Yeah, they'll have those moments that you'll remember. It's very much like a Royal Rumble in terms of the spots that happen.
Yep, like this past year, Roman Reigns eliminating, I believe, 12 men.
Yeah,
That was one of the great spots in the match. Also, Kofi Kingston, another great spot in the match.
so I don't know. I've heard it. We've got the big four pay-per-views: WrestleMania, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam. Now, Survivor Series, SummerSlam doesn't have any form of gimmicky type thing. So if you move Money in the Bank in that, you got like the top 3 gimmick pay-per-views and then the big one.
You know what? I think that Money in the Bank, it's becoming a big pay-per-view because you have great matches, the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches, and the idea of that you have a future title shot.
Yeah, that was one of the best innovations Chris Jericho came up with.
Yep, I read Chris Jericho's book, and I believe him and another guy came up with it. So,
Yeah.
not only Chris Jericho, nothing
Okay.
to take away from him.
But
But-
yeah, talking to Chris Jericho, you got to meet him.
Yep, I got to meet Chris Jericho. He's a pretty nice guy.
But yeah, since how long's it been? Like 9 years, I think they said.
Yeah, I've been a pretty long time.
We've had 9 years of great ladder matches, and it's not just the ladder match. It's the rest of the year when you're sitting there wondering if they're going to cash in. Is this going to be the moment?
Yeah. In previous years, John Cena and Damian Sandow winning the briefcases, those have been a bit disappointing. But the idea of that you don't know when they're going to cash in, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite part. I love the ladder matches, but when they carry around the briefcase, they can do it. They're not going to. It's just. But I think Rollins may have some trouble cashing in, at least in the near future.
Yeah, because he has Dean Ambrose on his tail right now, and wherever Seth Rollins goes, Dean Ambrose is going to go right behind him.
I think it was last year when we had Damien Sandow win and we had Cody on his tail.
Yeah, I really think Cody Rhodes should have won that ladder match, and maybe Cody Rhodes should have. Maybe Cody Rhodes would have actually won his cash-in.
But I'm just comparing these two feuds at the moment. I think they will take similar directions.
Yeah, except I think Seth Rollins, he will actually cash in and become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Okay then, but when do you think it'll happen?
We never know. That's the thing with the Money in the Bank briefcase. You never know when it's going to happen. We didn't know Damian Sandow was going to cash in. We didn't know Randy Orton was going to cash in. And we didn't know CM Punk was going to cash in. We didn't know Edge was going to cash in, and so on.
Yeah, but see, we've got one problem involving a Seth Rollins cash-in, and that's the rumored SummerSlam Brock Lesnar match.
Yeah, I think Seth Rollins, that could be a good opportunity because John Cena, Brock Lesnar, they're devastating. If you put John Cena in a match against Alberto Del Rio, John Cena will devastate Alberto Del Rio. If you put Brock Lesnar in a match with The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar will devastate The Undertaker. And now you put the two together, they're going to devastate each other, and the only thing that you're going to come out of the match is carnage.
Yeah, but if we see Brock Lesnar pick up the win and carry around the titles, I don't see Rollins cashing in on Lesnar.
I don't see it happening on Lesnar. We could have Daniel Bryan win the titles, but anyone can win the titles from Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, I heard he's going to be at Night of Champions as well, so Brock Lesnar, that's a guaranteed title chance right there for Seth Rollins if Brock Lesnar does defend and if he wins the title at SummerSlam.
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs in this situation here.
Yeah, a lot of it.
So that's about all we got time for. It's been great talking to you.
And great talking to you too.
I believe with a 99% certainty Josh is finished his training, so as you wanted, we may have a 3-man band.
There you go.
We'll look into it. So that's all we got time for. You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio, or our website, wrestlingroundup.host22.com, wrestlingroundup.host22.com, and I'll see you next week.